Sit back and throw one back with your pinky in the air and a middle finger to the world, and join me, the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, as we look back on this day in pro wrestling history. But before we do, put that drink down, like, share, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get our wrestling history on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is September 24th, and we're going to start off as we always do on a positive note. That's right, these are your pro wrestling birthdays. 1973, veteran women's wrestler April Hunter. 1976, the billion-dollar princess Stephanie McMahon. 1978, Chris Nowinski. 1985, part of Retribution, Shane Thorne. And last but not least, 1993, the vivacious, the vicious Sonya Deville. Of course, on the flip side of that coin, your pro wrestling deaths for September 24th. 1992, legendary promoter, Roy Shire. All right, enough of the sad stuff. It's time to get to the meat and potatoes. That's right, these are your pro wrestling history highlights for September 24th. A super short trip in the Wayback Machine today as we start in 1963, where we see Gory Guerrero, father of Eddie, Hector, Chavo, and Mondo Guerrero, and the grandfather of Chavo Guerrero Jr., defeat Ali Bey in El Paso, Texas, to win the NWA World Light Heavyweight title for a second time. Skipping over the 70s and going straight to 1984, Greg Valentine defeats Tito Santana in London, Ontario, Canada, to win the WWF Intercontinental title. Santana, who was wrestling with an injured leg, hit Valentine with a flying forearm and scored the pin, but Valentine's foot was out of the ring. Before Santana realized the pinfall didn't count, Valentine kneed Santana from behind and hooked the injured leg, gaining the pinfall victory. After the match, Valentine put Santana in a figure-4 leg lock, and Santana had to be stretchered out from ringside. The Santana-Valentine feud would rage on for almost a full year, with Santana winning back the belt on July 7th, 1985, in a cage match. Fast-forwarding to 1990, Herb Abrams' Universal Wrestling Federation held their first TV taping at the Resenda Country Club, drawing 450 fans to witness over 23 matches, with a main event of Steve Williams fighting Paul Orndorff to a double countout at 6 minutes and 11 seconds. And last but not least, 1995, the WWF ran their third in-your-house pay-per-view at Saginaw, Michigan at the Civic Center, with a main event of WWF Champion Diesel and WWF Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels defeating WWF Tag Team Champions the British Bulldog, substituting for Owen Hart, and Yokozuna with Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji at 15 minutes and 42 seconds to win the titles, when Diesel hit a powerbomb on the interfering Owen Hart. The titles were later returned to Owen and Yoko the following day due to the fact that Bulldog was not recognized as a champion that night. For the first time in WWF history, all three championships were on the line in one match. Those were your super short but super sweet pro wrestling history highlights for September 24th. I'm the eclectic gentleman Stephen Watts, and we'll see you tomorrow.